YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage back on Total War Rome 2, and this is going to be the other 2v2. I played with, I guess, the killer team here, and then Gnark and myself. Gnark, Lemon, whatever, yeah, I can't say that. So this time I'm going to play as Epirus, with a slightly risky army. I've got Levy Pikes. They're kind of a tricky unit, but we were up against Odrysian Kingdom where I expected high numbers of infantry. Ha! Well, my opponents tried to be tricky last time. I guess I should have expected it this time. Not high numbers of infantry is what they brought. So I figured that if they brought Odrysian, or the Thracian nobles, or whatever they are, yeah, I think it's Thracian nobles, the ones that are insane infantry, I figured that if I brought pikes, that would be the best counter for them, and then I'd have these mercenary Rhodian slingers popping kills on them while they tried to outflank me. So my opponent, by not bringing that type of army, has already put me in a curious predicament. And then I saw these 3 units of war dogs, and I was like, what the crap? War dogs? That seemed weird, because neither one of us is using a real, like, kind of, what do you call it, a horse archer faction. So yeah, I've got a couple of citizen cav over here, an Aspis cav, another citizen cav, mercenary Indian elephants, royal peltis, and I brought the elephants again, expecting Thracian nobles. This is the best counter to them. Royal peltis general, and then yeah, I've got a couple of militia hoplites on the flanks. I didn't even get a chance to look at my opponent's army during the thing, so let's see what he's got. Let's see, Lusitani guerrillas up front. Looks like veteran shield warriors. Those are some pretty good units. However, he's facing off against Rome, and even though the veteran shield warrior is a tough unit, it's going to have a hard time against the Romans because it only has 30 armor, and the Romans have higher armor and formation attack. So these guys will come in strong, start getting a bunch of kills, but it's going to be hard to finish the fight with them. Let's see, he's got some Lusitani nobles on each flank too. These guys are capable of destroying Roman infantry. Let's see, so he's got some Iberian cav, facing off against some legionary cav. Not a fight he would want to take, and he doesn't. Legionary cav is actually very cost effective. Okay, so all I can see from my opponent is some Thracian peltis. These guys are pretty good attack once they run out of ammo, and they're a fairly decent unit in melee. Not something you'd want to take against like Roman infantry head to head, but yeah, see, I've still got my 2 cav hidden here, keeping those in case my opponent swings something out of the woods. I'd be able to cut him off. Now look at this. So my opponent does exactly what I'm expecting. Hey, look, he's swinging cav out of the woods. I didn't take any time to do any math in my head, and I was like, sweet, here's all of his cavalry out here. So this will be easy. I'll just swing my cav around here, and then swing these in, and pincer him. And then it'll just be an easy knockout because Thracian horsemen suck. So yeah, it's just like, yeah, this is no problem. But when you think about my opponent's army, he's just got 3 mercenary hoplites, some peltis and stuff. There's clearly more men for him. This was a foolish errand on my part, and I'll show you what happens here when you don't kind of finish off your strategic thinking. But, I mean, to me, this looks like a wholesale slaughter about to begin. And see how he just holds back both my cav with 1 unit? Fantastic move. My other guys are struggling to box him out, and then I'm like, oh, I've got you, but then look at this. Thracian royal cav. 1, 2, 3 of them popping out of hiding. I'm screwed. I decided to charge him with my Aspis cav. Really should have just run. Should have just sacrificed my citizen cav and run. Because, I mean, this is insane. My elephants were clear on the other side of the battlefield. I'm going to bring them over, but it'll probably be too late. The charge from those Thracian nobles, or Thracian royal cav, it's brutal. And they're a tough unit. They don't have very good melee defense. Well, wow, they actually have great melee defense. I forgot, I was thinking these guys are shot cav. They're not shot cav, they're melee cav. And with 2 of them there, they're going to be very tough to beat. Plus, they fight with spears, which means they have that hidden bonus versus cavalry. So yeah, my opponent's just going to punch a hole right through my cavalry, which now means I have pikes, and I have no support for my flanks. Which is just bad. This is just bad. Get some militia hoplites into his Thracian peltist here, just trying to keep them silent. He's throwing a lot of javelins at my pikes, which is fine. I'm not real concerned, and I'm actually focusing fire with my slingers, which is good enough to take down his Thracian peltist. These guys don't have as good a shield or armor as some of the other high-level peltists. So I'm able to kill quite a few of them with my Rhodians and just drive them back here. So I'm doing fine over here. The problem is that I'm about to just have a freaking nightmare all over my flank. My elephants do get here in time to charge into his Thracian royal cavalry. And I'm going to get a pretty fair number of kills chasing these guys. But it's going to take a long time to kill 3 Thracian Royal Cav, and he's not going to make it easy for me. Also, there's this fight going on over here that really needs some help. He's going to turn around and bring a charge back against my elephants. Yeah, I mean, you can see my elephants have already gotten 30 some odd kills, but once the fight bogs down, their kills will slow down. They really do better on the charge. In fact, I think him running away his cav there was a mistake, otherwise they'd last longer. So elephants really kind of get their kills from charging in. You can see my citizen cav out here holding out great. It's just they're outnumbered mercilessly at this point. Routed one of his Thracian Royal Cav, which is fantastic. But look, he's bringing over his Thracian Peltist because he knows that he's going to need him to have any hopes. I'm going to start running away, which stinks because I'm going to start taking a bunch of damage from running away, and I'm going to have to come this way. He's going to pin me here. He's going to try and pin my elephants and kill him with the Peltist. You see, running away is going to allow his men to score some hit point damage on my guys, plus he gets another full-on charge right here. So the good thing for me is this, I will get some more cavalry kills here, but my guys are getting surrounded. One elephant goes down. This is just a lot of Thracian Royal Cav that he's got me surrounded with. My guys are bogged down. There's Peltist coming in. There's really not much that I can do now. But this does free up my citizen cav to last even longer. So this cav fight started off like a nightmare. Fortunately, my elephants got here in time to at least make my opponent pay kind of a hefty price. Now, I've been over here the whole time. Let's take a look at the fight between the Lusitani and the Romans. Again, the Lusitani come in blazing, get some kills, but look at that morale. Up against the formation attack units, the Romans just last better. And they're going to really hold on there. Now the Lusitani putting up a heck of a fight, but check this somewhere. I'm trying to figure out where his war dogs have gone to. Right here. So he released his war dogs on these veteran shield warriors. And they're chewing on his men while he's trying to move around and engage the Romans, and this is bad. Because you kind of just have to let your men sit there and fight the war dogs. Otherwise, they'll just sit there and follow you around and chew on your men. I don't know how many kills the war dogs have gotten. 115 on that one. I can't find the other dog handlers at the moment. Let's see, 83 there. And there was one more dog handler that I can't find, so an impressive number of kills. There's a ton of slingers left, and I've got skirmishers left, but the problem is here comes a horde of Thracian cavalry coming right towards our stuff. Got my Royal Peltist in here into the back of these Romans, just really trying to help my Lusitani, a teammate, even out the fight against the Romans. It's just not going to be easy because the Romans are hard to break, especially once you've already taken some beatings like this. Roman general going to come in as well. Yeah, I mean, veteran shield warriors just having a hard time cutting through these high caliber Roman units. Armored legionnaires, these are all very tough units. Triarii out here holding up the Lusitani nobles. Lusitani nobles a tough unit. Triarii can hold up a lot longer than you think. So now I've got to try and scare off this Thracian cavalry. At least some of his men are way out here, away from the fight for the time being. This is going to be a can we manage to protect our cavalry from, or skirmishers from all the enemy cavalry. Pikes can definitely protect against cavalry. And to be quite honest, if I really just want to win this, I could just go into a pike box right here. Our opponents don't have any skirmishers left, and these guys out here are probably out of ammo. And there's very little that they could do about me going into a pike box. But pike box really isn't my favorite thing to do to someone, though I think in this case it would be fairly legitimate. Opponent's got a lot of cavalry, I have pikes. I mean, you would want to get into a defensive formation, but I'm going to do my best to see if I can maneuver without having to pike box and just create kind of a stalemate that way. Plus, maneuvering my skirmishers around gives my pikes time to reposition, and it makes them have to chase farther. And you can see I'm just going to keep running away with my mercenary Rhodians, just try and keep them alive while my guys continue to get shots. Yeah, so I'm just trying to fire into the back of some of his Thracian horsemen. Get as many kills as we can. He rear charges into all the Lusitani here, which is going to be brutal. Thracian Royal Cavalry is going to do great against these fairly low armored sword units. And this is going to put an end to the Lusitani infantry that I badly needed to help me out. Because now there's going to be Roman infantry free, and it's going to be hard for my pikes to deal with Roman infantry, unless they were pike boxed. Check it out, my pikes engaging here with their movement orders, like 3 guys engaging at any given time. Kind of weird. Yeah, I do have a fair number of them, and there's still a fair number of enemy Balearic slingers around. I was trying to kind of box some of the cavalry in here, but couldn't get them. So the Thracian cavalry is going to try and keep moving. And let's see, my Royal Peltist has just been out here beasting up kills. because none of the units that have been thrown at it yet are capable of killing it. So it's cutting down these mercenary hoplites up to 155 kills already. Again, fortunately, these Thracian Peltists, I think, are out of ammo, and they're also very tired. Yeah, he does have a Thracian Royal Cav here as well. So yeah, my guys are at risk of being outflanked. He's going to throw Thracian Peltist in here against my Royal Peltist and probably try and outflank me as well. But again, Royal Peltist are going to do just fine for the time being. If he rear charges, then that's going to be bad. Which, that's not sure what he's setting up to do with these Cav. We managed to get some good slinger fire into his Cav right here, some really good slinger fire. It does take a lot of slinger fire, though, to kill melee Cav. It can do it, but it takes more than against, you know, like a lighter Cav or shot cavalry. So you can see their Thracian cavalry kind of just running amok all over the battlefield here. Some Lusitani nobles, again, going to get wrecked by a Cav charge. Unfortunately, this is a great infantry unit. It's too bad to see it go down like this. Yeah, here I'm trying to pin his Cav. His Cav was all coming after my Royal Peltist, and so I'm trying to scare off some of his units. And my Royal Peltists now are just beasting up kills against these skirmishers because their attack just isn't high enough, and I'm going to try and pin these guys in with pikemen. And I did manage to scare his Cav off for the time being, but then I see the Roman infantry moving in, so I'm going to get a little more defensive. Again, still have skirmishers on the field. This is still totally a winnable battle. We just need to be able to deal with this Thracian cavalry. And it at least got bogged down for a minute because this Thracian noble went into headhunt. But as soon as that headhunt wears off, well, he actually sees it and he's going to pull away from it. It's too bad he pulled away there because that would have been a great way for these Thracian nobles, or Lusitani nobles, to get some kills against this Thracian Cav that's kind of still just mobbing us. And I do kind of start to spear box here, but I can't spear box wide enough to save our skirmishers. Which probably don't have to save my skirmishers. The biggest problem is my general is now completely surrounded. He's going to die. And when he dies, my levy pikemen are going to suffer the consequences of the morale drop. Whereas the Roman still has an armored legionnaire and an eagle cohort here. So yeah, when this Royal Peltist goes down, it's going to be bad. But I mean, that's a considerable number of kills for the Royal Peltist. Yeah, check it out. 389, 390. These guys are really working it out. Chase these armored legionnaires off there. Wow, 394. These guys are going to get close to 400 kills. This is a problem, though, too. See how he can get his Cav behind my pikemen. And again, all he has to do is just get my pikemen out of formation. So just maneuver around a little. Some of his Thracian Royal Cav are wavering. But, I mean, again, my general just kicked the bucket. Which means that my pikes are going to be having serious morale issues. And the Lusitani skirmishers are almost all gone. If it was just the Roman infantry, I think my pikes could handle this. But with that Thracian Cav running around, it's going to be trouble. So we'll see what happens here in the last little bit. See that Thracian Royal Cav? Man, I wish those guys would die. And at this point, yeah, my pikes are a little bit split up too, which is bad. I can't exactly run away from the Romans. I get a few kills in this eagle cohort here, which was helpful. But they're kind of around my flank too. And then there's more Romans working around my flank. Whoops. Yeah, more Romans working around my flank here. So my pikes are in pretty rough shape. These slingers are going to get caught eventually as this cavalry works its way around. But I mean, most of the Thracian cavalry is gone at this point. We finally got rid of the Thracian Royal Cav that was such a threat. But look, my pike's starting to waver, which is frustrating because, I mean, they really can hold off these Romans from the front. I just don't know if I'm going to have enough of them left. And again, see these Thracian Peltists trying to get behind my men. And my pikes, again, doing fine, but it's just that morale factor. They've got men in front of and behind them, and they don't have very good morale to begin with. It doesn't take much to take these to get these guys to rout. Wait, here's one of the Thracian Royal Cav that must have come back from routing. Takes down my slingers, gets into the flank of my men. I'm going to try and kill it with this unit, but now it exposes their flank to the Peltist again. So yeah, it's just a tricky situation. And see, my pikes just won't drop, and then they rout. And then that's all it takes. The rest of these guys give up. So extremely close fight this time. Good job by our opponents to just keep going there at the end, even though it looked like we might turn it back around. So it ended up being a costly enemy victory. So I think there's a couple interesting lessons here. Number one, I was way too hasty to pounce with my Cav. Think how different that fight would be if the Thracians had to worry about my citizen cav and my elephants that whole time. They wouldn't have been able to assist the Roman against the Lusitani. The Lusitani nobles would have gotten a considerable number more kills. The slingers of the Lusitani would have had more time to fire. My slingers wouldn't have come under attack so easily. So a whole lot of factors go into there. So really the loss of that battle was pretty much my fault by jumping into that cav trap. Fantastic trap by the Odrysian player, actually really well done. You know, getting me lured into a situation like that. Should have just done the math in your head. That's why you always do the math whenever people have been hiding troops, and should have been aware that he had a pretty considerable force still waiting out there. And 4 cav, definitely an interesting one. So you see what the opponents did here. The Odrysian build was not your typical Odrysian when he didn't bring Thracian nobles, so he's trying to throw us off balance. So see, my army was brought to deal with the Thracian nobles. If he would have spent a lot of money on him, he wouldn't have had a lot of money left for cav. And my opponent kind of, you know, I think did some thinking about what type of army to bring, did something creative, did something different. And I think it was a pretty interesting build. Ended up doing pretty darn well for him. Again, very close battle, but it was a fun one. Enjoyed both of these battles with, I guess, the killer team over there, and appreciate my teammate playing some awesome games with me as well. HeirofCarthage signing off for now.